trillion, 1.5 quadrillion without a plan. They're going to bait and switch. It's the same Federal Reserve, now part of congressional record, they learned decades later, ran ads through proxy groups in hundreds of newspapers and had their own newspaper columnists write against the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 with the big private banking heads out criticizing it, saying they didn't want it. Please, they said, don't give us a Federal Reserve. It won't let us speculate and rip people off anymore. And what happened? They totally took over the country through it. They had authored it. They had met secretly 100 years ago. They just had the anniversary this year at Jekyll Island. They celebrated their plan 3 years before to bring in the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, 98 years ago. 2 years later, they got it through on December 23rd without a quorum in the House and Senate. 3 senators voted it in, just like the Super Congress. They've got it all lined up. They think you're stupid. They think you can't figure it out. And just watching from L.A. to Chicago, from Boston to you name it, New York, to watch communists run around and say, tax the rich, VAT. And I saw headlines this week, was it the New York Times, about protesters on Wall Street say, raise my taxes. You don't get the taxes. You pay for the war, for the globalist military that we think's the American military and the European military. You pay for the global occupation banker force. You pay for the banker bailouts. You pay for it all. Limbaugh never tells you the inside. Beck never tells you the inside on the right. And you never get told this stuff by the left. They just play you like fiddles, like you're morons. Warren Buffett helped lobby for Glass-Steagall to be repealed, to do this, to sell you the derivatives, to screw everything up, to destroy the world financial system, to hold it all hostage, to bring in a new system, global carbon, global VAT, global sales taxes. Now it's here, global dictatorship. Obama, Bush, the wars, the torture, the Wall Street bailouts, different rhetoric. And what is different rhetoric, but the same actions? What has Obama said? He's going to play race card publicly. Now they're saying you're racist if you criticize future bailouts. They're saying everything's racist. Again, it's to get us all fighting, black and white, Hispanic, whatever. Stop fighting and don't start blaming somebody down the street that's got a business. They're not the reason you've got trouble. You tax them, they shut down, now you won't even have a job. And that's what the globalists want. They say they want a post-industrial America. It's the little middle class. We used to have the biggest in the world. It's now shrinking. It's shrunk by around 50% in the last 30 years. Our middle class is almost gone. People are working 2, 3 jobs to keep up the middle class lifestyle. They're the ones that employ people. They're the ones that pay the stinking taxes. The big bankers are exempt from it. And this is a plea to all of the well-meaning liberals out there. I told you Barack Obama was going to screw you something fierce, just like I told you Bush was. Just like we've been shooting down Rick Perry right now, and he's plunging. We aren't partisan. We're into the truth. We understand the banksters. We understand their program. We know how to defeat them. And people kept saying for 2 weeks, we had guests on and covered it, and I was kind of neutral. I said, we know the Soros groups are there trying to co-opt it. We know there's libertarian groups. There's the Fedders there. There's a lot of students that are angry about their student loans being so, loan sharking high. But now it's clear the mainstream media is adding fuel to this fire. They're giving it huge attention. They're saying this is the revolution. They're giving attention to the Ford Foundation-controlled left, people like Democracy Now! And they're going to take all this anger at the bankers, and they're going to blame it on America and the Republic and the free market and capitalism. When the free market and capital... Have you seen Newsweek and Time Magazine with the covers the last 3 months? Richard, pull it up. Time Magazine, Newsweek called for shredding the Constitution. You've seen it in newsstands. Get rid of the Constitution. It'll fix it. I hear pundits everywhere. We'll fix everything. We get rid of the Constitution. I heard Bloomberg in the last 2 weeks and CNBC say, get rid of democracy in Europe. The Germans don't want to vote to pay, and to raise their taxes and cut their benefits. It's austerity. All of you idiot left out there calling for bigger government, you're not going to get any of the tax money. It's all going to the bankers, you stooges. And when things get even worse, they'll call to raise taxes even more, and you'll lose even more jobs and lose even more of your pay. And then you'll riot for more communism, and things will get worse and worse, like China and like Russia, until you wake up and stop letting these bankers manipulate you. And you mainline conservatives, man. The fact, just type in, search web, not news. News won't find it. Click the news tab up at the top. Now click web. Just type in Newsweek says get rid of the Constitution. So Newsweek says get rid of the Constitution. And it shows the Constitution being shredded and says, is it outdated? And it's just like Case for Killing Granny. They said, yeah, we got death panels. We're going to murder your grandmother. Bill Gates, what did Bill Gates say last year? He said, you can hire 10 teachers if we just don't give grandma treatment in her last few years of life. And the teachers all clapped. You idiots. The same predatory system that'll kill a grandma and tell you you're going to get a job because you killed somebody is going to screw you too. There it is. Yeah, just Newsweek says get rid of the Constitution. Just add Infowars.com to the end of it. Doesn't matter. I'm trying to do it on the road, what I do. We just got to put a printer on here, and then I can actually... I know what, the crew up there, if they can find it, can put it up. I don't see it here. Maybe it was Time. I know it was both of them wrote articles about it. And it's burning up in here. All right, let's do a test and see if it's too loud. Well, it takes a long time to cool it down, doesn't it? So now that it's gotten so hot, it won't matter. It doesn't matter. Everybody's seen those articles. Now, or click on images. That may bring it up. Listen to me. Listen to me. The left-right system is a way to play us off against each other. Instead of us being about ideas, we're about race or religion or what political football team we're in. Dallas Cowboys, Redskins, Coke, Pepsi, Ford, Chevy. Get out of that. Get outside the box. Get more sophisticated. We're fighting monopoly men who use government regulation to shut down their competition. There it is. You found it. There it is. Does it still matter? And it shows the Constitution being shredded right there. And then it goes into basically say, if we get rid of it, it'll fix everything. Thank you. Now, this is big what we're doing. This is big what we're launching. This is big. We're going to get this video posted to our YouTube channel. It's streaming right now at prisonplanet.tv. We've got the audio stream up at Infowars.com. We're streaming it on Justin TV. I am going to, history's happening right now, and I am going to turn it loose. You're going to see some absolute kick-butt behavior coming out from us, but I need your help in this. I need you to hit the streets. I need you to start planning and then emailing us. Richard, what's your email?
It's Richard@Infowars.com.
Richard@Infowars.com is one place you can send emails. You can send them to Kurt Nemo. Everything. We're going to start posting where different in the Fed protests are happening around the country, just like Paul Revere. Don't wait for orders from headquarters. Go to the sound of the guns. You are the 21st century Paul Revere. The globalists are running a giant psyop. They've triggered our economic implosion. Now they're throwing us a life raft that is going to take us straight to hell. We've got to get people on the real life raft of free market, constitution, fair weights and measures, freedom, low taxes, not globalism, not foreign banks raping us. We are going to go after the Federal Reserve peacefully and identify them. And even if you can't come to the demonstrations, call your local radio and TV when you hear about one in your area. Call them, tell them to be there, because there's enough heat going right now that they'll have to start reporting on it, that people are at these events. And that's why the cops are so nice. Well, they beat people up in New York and places because the cops don't know why. They're being told by psychological warfare chiefs. They're too stupid. They're compartmentalized. They beat people up when they want to get attention. They're beating people up and arresting them to make them look like martyrs so that it gains steam. The cops are going to kiss your butts at these Federal Reserve events because they do not want anybody to be arrested. They're there with the army watching. They're scared. They know, my God, the people are actually got sunglasses like they live. They can see. We're not out here fighting puppet Wall Street, simple name, capitalism. Oh, yeah. No. We don't want the Soviet system. We're not here attacking Obama or Bush or some new puppet. We're going right to the eye of Sauron, right to the eye on the dollar bill, right to the New World Order, right to the private Federal Reserve that represents the 6 big offshore megabanks. Okay? We're going right at them, right at them, right at them. They want to misdirect all this energy, all this anger, this concern, this awareness. They want to send that at the American people. They want to take your energy and anger and get a giant mass of the unwashed mob, as the globalists would call them, the useful idiots, and take that energy we throw at the bankers and throw it back at the American people. So they get even more power. The globalists get more taxes, more regulations, more control. We need to take this anger that's now cresting. That's why the globalists are triggering their Soros armies, triggering their Acorn Obama groups to come out and go, we want more taxes, get the rich people. So they shut down the guy that owns a breakfast taco place down the street from you with more taxes. That's who these people hit. $125,000 a year. $125,000 a year is like what making $50,000 was 10, 15 years ago. Look at the numbers. Somebody making $1 million a year is making the equivalent like 300, 400,000 10, 15 years ago. Look at the numbers, depending on where you live in the country. And they're saying, Warren Buffett, get the rich people. I'm exempt from taxes. It isn't right. I'm making billions on bailouts, he doesn't tell you. He wants more bailout money. Meanwhile, I'm like, yeah, get the rich guys. He's like, get them. And they go out to the middle class and steal their money and take it to him and Rothschild and Rockefeller. I see you. I know who you are. We're going to occupy the Federal Reserve. Now, I can show up at different events and I can be there. But obviously, I can't camp out at one spot. I'm almost tempted to. That would really get attention. To the fact that they're the bankers. We've got to get attention on who is really behind it. We have to go past the puppets to the real leadership of the globalists, or we have no hope. But the globalists could have miscalculated, like Iceland and other areas. This could backfire on them. We could defeat them. Our numbers, like Richard said, are a lot bigger than they used to be. It's going to be fluid. I'll think about it. We'll announce it tomorrow. Tentatively, I'm going to be in Dallas and then San Antonio and Houston. But I don't think we can wait the more I look at this. Because the globalists, I was watching this Wall Street thing. I knew Soros was involved. Now the media is all behind it, giving it as much attention. They're saying, oh, this is great. The New York Times, like, how wonderful of them. Folks, even if they were wonderful, when the New York Times says you're wonderful, look out. Okay, you notice they don't say that about the real Tea Party that Ron Paul movement started. They don't say that about liberty groups. You notice that. They demonize them even when they are popular because we're going after the real... They tried to have Republicans co-opted and they demonized it. An attack from both sides that control paradigm. So in summation, the George Soros Democratic Party banker-owned system that teams up with the very same Republicans, two wings on the same carrion bird, the same buzzard, they are launching an all-out co-opting movement of our revolution against the globalist, our restoration of the republic. We expose the bankers. We expose their fiat system. The bankers think the public isn't sophisticated enough to get that. They turn loose the Al Gore-ites, and I've watched them on the news and on their own clips. They turn loose the George Soros, Obamanoids, calling for more taxes. That's their strategy going into this new election. And they've got the Super Congress in place to literally loot this country in globalist reparations to the banksters up one side and down the other. So again, I'm Alex Jones asking you nationwide, don't wait. Even if it's just 10 of you, your libertarian group, your liberal group, your anti-war group, your conservative group, your bird-watching group, your seniors group, whoever's being screwed by this, and that's all of us. If it's 5 of you, get out to your local Federal Reserve. Point out, this is the problem. This is the 6 banks that make the rules and are exempt and give themselves trillions. These are the people that created the derivatives. These are the people that say they're above the law. These are the people that won't tell Congress where the trillions went, and now we learn it's to the media to buy them off. These are the people. This is a test. Can the globalists at this critical juncture? We did our work. We woke up people. We energized the population of this world. We're giving the globalists a run for their money. We can and we will defeat them. It is up.